gonna just text Ellen. OMG, exclamation point, Alexis can make it to the hut. Her shoulder might be doing well enough to ride, ... Pick you up in an hour, question mark? Normie? Do you want to be a mountain boy? Yeah, we love the mountains. Part of being an athlete is obviously figuring out like the most efficient ways to do everything. Sure, like training, racing, blah, blah, blah. But really, packing.
Take this set, this one, just in case. And that should do it. Would not call myself a full-on mechanic, but I like doing things myself. Nice to know that it's done the way you want it to be done. All the things we might need to fix the things that will break.
It looks like I'm just bringing my dirty clothes, but these are in fact clean. Okay, chamois packed.
Headphones, oh, sunscreen. We're at like 10,000 feet. I got into cycling mostly because of my parents. I was actually a big skier before I got into riding.
Good job, Ellen. Good job going slow.
I feel lucky that ever since I was a kid, the bike has always been there. And I've more recently stepped into professional racing and have been learning a lot about what that world can look like.
I didn't grow up going to bike races. I just remember biking was like this thing that my dad did. It wasn't until much later that I sort of found my own way into it. When I came to Durango, I learned how to ride bikes through bike racing. It was the first time that I had met women who were professional cyclists. That was pivotal for me because I saw what was possible.
Sarah Sturm, single speed, national champion. We'll start with your hit last year.
It's been cool to now be on a team with Sarah. She's been a huge part of showing me it didn't have to be a certain type of way.
I know, the steps are really hard. Come on. Oh. Training for races can often become pretty isolating. It's a lot of time alone, doing long rides where you're obsessing over your intervals, and it's just easy to get lost in your own head. So this year, a group of us decided to get together and rent a hut. Come over here. This is like a big porch, like at home, but prettier. For some high altitude riding to prepare for Leadville.
Oh my God.
The lifts are awesome.
They are.
Gravel.
Yeah, I think here's our new room.
This is great.
Yeah, welcome to Rapha's hut. The whole time we were like, we can't wait for Alexis to get here.
Thank you.
It's just like fun camp. It's a really different energy when you just gather a group of women together. Because we all have really different approaches to the same sport, and to like train and ride together and learn from each other in this way.
These dry really quick. Yeah, I guess this is different.
That's something that actually pushes the sport forward.
Up, 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 down, down, down. Up, 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 done. Just charging all of my things and trying to see how much oxygen's in my blood up here.
You have to prepare for this race. You can't really just show up. And then that's when I thought we were gonna die. And then in particular with Leadville, it's a unique race because you have to spend so much time at altitude to like get used to it. It's just like steady up. And then you hit this 4x4 road and then it's not steady. And to get to do that and be up here with these other women, I feel pretty lucky.
Check.
It's just kind of a fun way to get some atmospheric background sounds. I wouldn't necessarily use it for specific sounds like shifting and stuff like that. I like to do on its own. Cool. But you can get a lot of cool stuff this way though. And it's kind of like a way to get creative stuff that you wouldn't normally come up with. So. I pay attention to more now. And it's just kind of a cool perspective to just sit, especially in an area like this. It's just breathtaking, and the sounds just add to just the whole experience. I've definitely relied on music during this time. A few weeks ago, I broke my collarbone, and it just takes my mind off of being injured and all the stress that goes along with that. Really took me out of that dark place, and I've been able to kind of function normally, I guess, just because I had something else.
And that's why coming up here is vital. It puts everything into perspective. We all just live with this pressure and are under a lot of stress as just these modern day humans. Everybody who I've met in my life, we all experience that. And for me, cycling is the one thing that brings just even a couple of moments of serenity and calm and an ability to work through a lot of that.
Together with nearly 400 others, they have come to Leadville, Colorado to race a distance that may pound their dreams into nightmares. 100 miles at an average elevation of 10,000 feet. They have come to compete in the ultimate race, the race across the sky.
This is G, right?
Yeah.
You did the other.
Well, if I'm looking at it, it's a G.
This is going to be my third year doing this race. I started by supporting Sarah and Howard on it. It was actually at Leadville, I had this realization, like, I could be doing this race. Sarah and I were pre-riding the power line descent, and I remember distinctly like turning to her and being like, I want to race for real, and I need your help or advice. I had never thought of that as a possibility. So that was kind of the seed.
All right.
I think the community aspect and the friendships that you make are really important for this type of racing, because it's such a solo endeavor, but you have to have other people to make it, to be successful. Like, you cannot do this alone, even though you're doing it alone.
This year is actually a pretty historic year for women's off-road racing.
Is it going to be a photo finish for this women's sprint at Unbound Gravel?
I didn't see another dude the whole race for Unbound. For 200 miles, it was the first time I had started with a pack of women and was one of the people that was dictating what happened, which I had never experienced before in a women's race. And to be a part of that and be in the select group that we ended up racing all the way to the line for the win at Unbound. And it was probably one of the proudest moments of my career in a lot of ways. And that never would have happened if we were mixed in with the men's start.
I don't think in the history of that race, and probably most gravel races, has there been a 9-up women's sprint. That alone shows that women need their own start. When you're racing with just women, it feels so different than when you're racing in a mass start. In a women's only start, I felt like I actually belonged. I felt like I had control over what I was doing versus just trying to survive, because it's chaotic and dangerous. So this year I think will be a lot different.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Leadville, Colorado. Today is the day. It's an early start here as anticipation builds for the start of the Leadville Trail 100 MTB.
I have never experienced pressure like this before. It's a lot, it's a lot to carry on your shoulders.
Did Ellen already leave?
I don't think there is a balance, honestly. I mean, my life, my partner's life, my dog's life revolves around my career right now. When you have a different approach that isn't the status quo, people just question it, and they question you, and they question, why, and if you belong, and all of the things. And the thing that keeps driving me forward is that I hope that I can leave a mark for some other young girl at some point to see that she can do something really hard, and she doesn't have to do it the way that everyone else has done it, and she won't have to do it alone.
One of the most exciting things that we'll see today is a separate women's start. This has never been done at 10,200 feet in Leadville, Colorado, and it is going to make for some dynamic racing. We're looking at our pro women on the start line for the 30th running of the Lifetime Leadville Trail 100 presented by Kinetic.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Caught sight of some of our strongest riders in the women's field, with Sarah Sturm in the mix as well. I think Ellen's really needed a good ride this year, because last year we all saw her as one of those riders who had all the potential of a breakout, and that could still happen in this race.
I don't know, my whole glute.
Here, step off the bike.
I'm trying.
Stretch.
Thank you. I don't know what's happening. It just, from the 20th mile.
Good job, Sarah. Stick with it.
Come on, buddy. Let's go.
Good job, Sarah. Come on.
With an injury, you're just like, I don't know if I'm making it worse. And it just was bad. It was just painful the whole time. I just had to like keep moving.
I have to call out our woman in the Stars and Stripes, Alexis Skarda, who is racing today only 5.5 weeks after breaking her collarbone in training. She had surgery, had it plated. It's pretty impressive to see her racing a race of this level with pretty freshly healed collarbone.
I know I push myself hard sometimes, but in order to succeed in this sport, you sacrifice a lot. You really gotta want it.
Our chasers, we've got Ellen Campbell on the front driving the pace, followed by Deanna Males and Sarah Lang sitting third wheel. Really impressive to see her in the potential for a podium spot at the Leadville 100.
I don't know. I'm sure it'll sink in a little bit more tonight or, the rest of the week. But yeah, I'm just stoked that I executed. I getting teary. I made a plan and I followed through. In the past, I just settle and I've always, dreamed of kind of coming into my own and discovering who I am as a racer, and I think this is a really big piece of it. And also just who I had as a support system. You are doing a solo event, but you need other people to be successful.
Glad I did it, but I wasn't glad I did it while I was doing it. It's hard, and I feel like having that community of women in the sport is what kept me going, honestly.
This sucks.
To really, really not win when you're really trying to win is really painful and disappointing. And when your races don't go well, you question why you're doing all of it. And what is crazy is that the women that I race against, they were the reason I kept going. We're all giving up something to be out here, and then we're all doing it together. It can be lonely unless you look to the other people that go through it with you, and the only ones that know it are your competitors and your support team. Sure, you're competing against each other, but at the same time, they're the only ones on this planet that have experienced the same things that you've experienced. And for me, it's a reminder that you're never really alone in this.